My parents gave my room to my stepsister, but she smashed a wall and ended up paralyzed. Now I'm living my best life, knowing they can't do anything. The night the ceiling collapsed, I was lying in my new room, my garage, scrolling through comments about how insane it looked. And then I heard it, a crack, a scream, and a sound I will never forget, like the entire house exhaled in horror. By the time I ran upstairs, the golden child who stole my bedroom was buried under plaster and beams, and as horrible as it sounds, that was the moment everything changed. If you've ever been pushed aside in your own home, if you've ever been told to be the bigger person while someone else gets rewarded for being loud and demanding, then this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this one starts with betrayal and ends with a kind of karma no one saw coming. I was 16 when my dad remarried, and overnight, my house stopped feeling like mine. Before Victoria ever moved in, my room was my sanctuary. Pale blue walls, string lights around the window, a bookshelf my mom had helped me build before she passed away. Every inch of that room carried memory, safety. Then Victoria arrived. She was 17, loud, perfect hair, the kind of girl who never asked, only announced. "I can't share a bathroom," she declared on her first night, "and I definitely need more closet space." Within a week, the house started rearranging itself around her preferences. And then came the conversation. Dad sat on the edge of my bed, not meeting my eyes. "Sweetheart, Victoria's used to having more space. It's just temporary. You could move into the garage. We'll fix it up." The garage, concrete floors, spider webs, smelled like oil and dust. I remember staring at my bookshelf, my fingers tracing the wood grain my mom had sanded. Temporary. That word tasted like metal in my mouth. I wanted to scream, to say it wasn't fair, that this was my home first. But instead, I nodded, because I had already learned something important. In this new family, keeping the peace meant shrinking myself. If they were going to push me into a garage, fine. I would make it mine. I spent weeks cleaning it, my hands blistered from scrubbing oil stains. I painted the concrete floor white, hung drywall, installed cheap laminate flooring I bought with babysitting money. I watched YouTube tutorials on insulation, on lighting, on DIY furniture. The day I strung warm LED lights across the ceiling beams and plugged them in, the room glowed. It wasn't a garage anymore. It was stunning. High ceilings, industrial vibe, a giant desk under the window, plants everywhere. When my friends came over, they gasped. "Wait, this used to be a garage? This is literally Pinterest level." They posted photos, and those photos spread. At school, people started talking about my loft room. Even seniors were asking if they could see it. For the first time since Victoria moved in, I felt something shift. I wasn't the displaced daughter anymore. I was the creative one, the resilient one. And Victoria noticed. It started small. She'd wander downstairs, arms crossed, pretending to be casual. "It's not even that big," she'd mutter. "It just looks bigger because it's empty." Then she started comparing. Well, my room could be bigger if I knocked out that stupid wall to the guest room. At first, I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Victoria couldn't stand that my garage had become more impressive than the bedroom she stole. She needed to win, and Victoria didn't lose. One afternoon, I overheard her on FaceTime. "Just wait," she told her friend. "I'm about to turn my room into a master suite, like actual luxury." I felt a flicker of unease, but my parents, they brushed it off. "She's just being dramatic," my stepmom laughed. No one ever took her threats seriously. That was the problem. The day it happened, the house felt strangely quiet. Too quiet. I was downstairs editing photos when I heard banging upstairs. Rhythmic, aggressive, thunk, thunk, Thunk. I froze. Then drywall dust drifted through the air vent. I ran upstairs. Victoria's bedroom door was shut. And inside, the sound of something heavy slamming into a wall. "Victoria," I knocked. "What are you doing?" "Go away," she snapped. "You don't get to see this until it's done." My stomach dropped. I went downstairs to tell my dad, but he was at work. My stepmom was out. And then, crack. A deep, splintering crack, followed by a scream that didn't sound human. The floor beneath my feet vibrated. I bolted upstairs. The hallway was filled with dust so thick I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. The wall between Victoria's room and the guest room was gone. So was part of the ceiling. A support beam had given way. And Victoria was pinned beneath debris. Her legs twisted at an angle I will never unsee. She wasn't moving. Ambulance lights painted the house red and blue. My stepmom sobbed on the lawn. Dad kept asking, "How did this happen?" I stood there, numb. And then Victoria's eyes locked on mine as they wheeled her out. "This is your fault," she whispered, like venom. At the hospital, doctors confirmed it. Spinal cord damage, permanent, paralyzed from the waist down. The house became a war zone of whispers and blame. Insurance refused to cover the damage. Unpermitted demolition, intentional structural damage. Turns out Victoria had been planning it for weeks, using my stepmom's credit card to buy tools, watching tutorials on how to remove non-load-bearing walls. Only, it was load-bearing. The beam she destroyed had been holding up half the roof. My parents were drowning in repair costs, medical bills, wheelchair modifications. And Victoria? She told anyone who would listen that she only did it because she felt overshadowed. Because I made her look bad. Because I needed attention. For months, I carried guilt like a stone in my chest. If I hadn't renovated the garage, if I hadn't posted pictures, would she still be walking? But then one night, I overheard my stepmom talking to my aunt. She wanted to outshine her, she admitted. She was obsessed. We should have stopped her. That was the moment something inside me unclenched. I didn't hand her the sledgehammer. I didn't force her to swing it. Victoria made her choice. And now, for the first time, my parents couldn't force me to shrink. The house repairs meant my garage room stayed untouched. Untouchable. And because of medical expenses, the favoritism stopped. There was no more energy to coddle her ego. Reality had entered the chat. The real shift happened months later. College acceptance letters arrived. I got into my top choice, with scholarships. When I told my dad, his eyes filled with tears. "We're proud of you," he said. Simple words, words I hadn't heard in years. Victoria watched from her wheelchair, silent. For once, there was no competition. No dramatic announcement, no demand, just consequences. And as I packed up my garage-turned-loft, my sanctuary built from rejection, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Light. Not because she was hurt, but because I was finally free. Free from shrinking. Free from competing. Free from being the easier child. Karma hadn't been loud or flashy. It had been structural. She tried to tear down a wall to outshine me, and the house collapsed around her. Sometimes revenge isn't something you plan. Sometimes it's just refusing to dim your light and letting people face the consequences of trying to outshine you by force. Jealousy destroys more than it builds, and walls, literal or emotional, exist for a reason. If this story had you on edge, if you've ever felt replaced or underestimated in your own home, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Was this karma? or just tragic consequences. And don't forget to subscribe for more emotionally charged Reddit revenge stories that prove one thing: you can't tear someone else down without risking everything yourself.